What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the NYJF pod, here with Fireman Ed and Jay Coppell. No Rob Carpenter tonight. Fellas, we're one day away from live football. Jets-Browns tomorrow evening. How are we feeling? Finally made it.
1 minute.
I'm feeling good, man. I am feeling good. Football is back. Man. You know what's funny about like preseason? We get all amped up for these games. You watch like the first 6 plays, and then it's like, it's preseason football. But there's actually some interesting things to watch this year. It'll be interesting to see a little Zach Wilson out there. I'm a little excited to see if he's made any progress in the offseason. Not gonna be able to tell too much. I don't want to get too crazy. If he goes out and throws a couple touchdown passes, it's a positive sign. Obviously, but you know, if he looks terrible, that's not good. The rest of it, I mean, guys like Brownlee, you know, guys that have been flashing in camp a little bit, it'll be interesting to see what they do against some competition. And yeah, you know, I'm just fired up just to see the jerseys and see the uniforms out there playing football. And it's been a minute, and you know, we're obviously excited for the start of the season. So getting the first game of the year against the Browns in Ohio and getting the induction and Revis and Klecko and all that. I mean, Ed, I know you're fired up. You're heading down there tomorrow.
Can't wait. Jet Nation should show up in force. I'm expecting them to show up in force. So I'm excited to see all the fans, man, you know, from all over the country. You know, it's an exciting time. You know, too many guys, but yeah, I want to see what Mackay looks like, you know, out there. You know, he's going to play 20, 25 snaps. So he's real important as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he's huge. So, you know, there's some things. I mean, as far as Zach, you know, I thought that Aaron Rodgers hit on, I thought he was phenomenal, what he had to say about Zach. He didn't sugarcoat anything. Be okay, right? I'm good.
A little choppy.
A little on and off. A little choppy.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
That sucks. You know, listen, I think Zach is, you know, that book's not written. We'll see about Zach, you know, but I'm excited about going out there tomorrow, you know, because of Klecko. I mean, Klecko deserves this so much. So I'm excited. And all the old-time fans will be out there, and then you'll have the young blood for Revis. So it'll be good. It'll be great. Looking forward to it.
Interestingly, Kev, before we get into the show, I do want to talk about this.
I talked about it Tuesday night for you, but yeah, I'll let you add your 2 cents on New jerseys. So go ahead.
It's just such a shame because I've been waiting 20 years. I will show the jersey. I'll get it in a second while somebody else is talking, but I do want to give my thoughts on it. $200. I mean, for $200, you know, in this economy, I mean, you back in the day, if you went to like Modell's or you went to Sports Authority and you paid $39.99, you got like a replica jersey with like the screen printed numbers, right? And if you paid $99.99, and this isn't even that long ago. I mean, I'm talking about like I have a Jericho Cotchery sewn Reebok jersey that, you know, all the numbers, all the letters, everything are sewn in, beautiful, stayed in great shape. 14 years ago, I bought that jersey, and it was $99.95. And when these jerseys came out, I was fired up as fired up as any Jets fan out there because I've been wanting to see the retro jerseys forever. The second they came out, I went right to Fanatics and I took $200 and I spent it. And then the thing comes and it was great shipping, super fast turnaround. You know, shout out to Fanatics on that end. But the thing arrives and it's, you know, silk screen numbers, heat press numbers. And, you know, it's like, I mean, what are we doing here? $200 for that? Like, there's got to be a certain point where like, they expect fans to shell out the money, and we do. And then, like, it shows up, and I'm just excited to rip it out of the packaging, and I take it out. It doesn't fit well. It's tight. It's short. It's, like, cut weird. And, like, it's called a vapor jersey, and fans are used to these vapor jerseys that, you know, are, like sewn, and they call it a vapor jersey, and they rush to get it out, and this is what we get, and it sucks. But look, end of the day, I mean, I'm not going to make a big deal of it. I'm probably going to wear the thing. I was thinking about sending it back. I don't know what I'm going to do at this point, but
even the stitching kind of looked like it was a little bootleg. No,
it's not stitch. It's heat sealed numbers. I'll grab it.
Not the numbers, but like the white part, like where
it's
on the numbers, right? Yeah, that part kind of looked off. But as Jay's going to get his jersey, we got a couple topics we can get into, before we start looking at Jets Browns. If you want to give your thoughts on Sean Payton's comments, Saleh and Rodgers, I thought handled that pretty well, especially Rodgers, with getting your coaches' names out of our mouth. So what were your thoughts on how Rodgers handled that, especially?
I thought they handled it unbelievably. I thought that, Rodgers said, what needed to be said. Saleh just, he took the high road, which was a smart move. You don't want to give them any bulletin material, but Aaron said what needed to be said. He loves his coach, and when you got Sean Payton doing that, man, that was too much, man. I mean, that game's gonna be a fired up game. Now I'm going to the game. I wasn't gonna go. Now I'm going. So
they're going to get the score run up on them, man. The Broncos kind of stink, and they pissed off Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be doing that this year. I mean, I don't know.
Is my internet connection better now?
Much better.
You're doing good. Much better.
Yeah.
So
I think something was unplugged.
That wouldn't be what I'd be doing is get, like Ed said, giving people some bulletin board material. And I don't know, man. Coaches are so weird. Like, why would he bring that up? Like, what purpose did that serve? Is he trying to like set it up where you say like I'm better than Nathaniel Hackett? Like, I think the whole world knows Sean Payton's a better head coach than Hackett. It's like Michael Jordan picking on like some 12th man on the back of the bed, or not even Michael Jordan. I mean, he's not Michael Jordan, but it's like come on, Sean Payton, be better than that. Be bigger.
Well, it's like what Rodgers said, though. It sets himself up for an easy fall if things don't work out because the organization was such a mess because of Hackett. It's the way that Payton's trying to perceive it.
Right. I do want to show you guys this, though. I mean, like, this thing it's like
it's going to be some.
Yeah. It's not stone. It's just it feels cheap for $200. I don't know, man. I just expected more, and it's a shame, but. Since you guys were asking, I want to move off the topic because I want to be straight positivity as we enter the season. I don't want to be talking, negative stuff. I'm probably, I don't know what I'm going to do with the jersey, but life goes on. It's not the end of the world.
So getting to a positive topic, Aaron Rodgers restructures his contract, saves $35 million, really no catches to it at all. I mean, this is pretty unprecedented for, a guy of his caliber, a future Hall of Famer, to just voluntarily give back $35 million so that the organization can use it on other pieces, to have some flexibility at the trade deadline. So what were your thoughts on that and, what it does for the rest of the locker room?
Yeah, look, we were spun a narrative that Aaron Rodgers is a me guy, that he isn't a team guy, as any Packer fan would have told you, especially with how hard he worked with the Packers organization to get that deal in place. It's just a tough look for the Packers if we're being real. I mean, he comes here. He's super happy and he's looking to give a little back so he can be on a team. So his last couple of years, he has a better chance to win. And that's all you would ever want in your quarterback, right? Like the guys, and it's not without precedent. I mean, Tom Brady's done similar stuff throughout his career. He took less on his salary to have talent around him and all that. Yeah, I'm with you. We got to get, we definitely next week, we're going to get Ed. We're going to get the Ethernet guy, the Xfinity guy, or the Comcast guy over there to make sure his internet is smooth for the season for sure. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers definitely wants to win. He's here to win. And that's clear. He's made that evident. He's not here just to it's funny. Brett Favre was here as like a stepping stone to get to where he actually wanted to go. And that was Minnesota. He put up with a year here. You can tell a big difference with Aaron Rodgers, and he's here. He wants to win. He feels the love, and he's given some love back, and I respect it. It's amazing.
You keep saying too, it's a multi-year partnership, which I love. Guaranteed 2 years, possibly 3 and more. So, what more could you ask for?
Yep. Ed?
Yeah. Well, listen, Rodgers did everything that he said he was going to do. He's lived up to everything he said. He wants to see this team win a world championship. And you heard what he said. When the trade deadline comes, what happens? You always have real good guys. He wants to have the best players. I mean, everything that this guy's done, he's shut everybody up basically. Now he's he's building this thing the way he wants to build it with Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and he wants to win a world championship. And that's all you could ask for. You can't ask for any more than what he's doing. So let's keep him healthy. Let the offensive line stay healthy, and we're going to have a legitimate shot at this thing. That's the bottom line. Bottom line, Aaron Rodgers has come to the Jets with open arms. He loves our history. He loves everything about what's going on. He's all in. And let's go. Let's go.
Yo, it seems, if you read the tea leaves here, and I don't want to get overly excited but it feels like from what he's saying, the trade deadline comment, that's a Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, baby. Yep.
That's a Devontae Adams play. No, I mean, he's basically saying, I'll give money to get my boy Devontae Adams in here. He's not happy in Vegas. And there were those, Canton was saying that it was about to start leaking that, he was unhappy. And then all of a sudden it started leaking that he was unhappy in Vegas. And now Aaron Rodgers is giving some back because guys come available at the trade deadline. Who's he talking about? Who's he talking about?
Hey, whatever it takes, we'll see when that time comes. Let's just stack the wins. Let's stack the wins.
Mm-hmm.
Stack the wins, home field throughout the playoffs, and the Jet fans will do the rest. The Jet fans are going to show up in Canton this weekend, and we're going to let the NFL see exactly what the green and white is all about. Let's go! I can't wait!
Kevin, are we putting a little parlay in on tomorrow's game? The Jets in the over? Are you having some fun?
We're going the over? Without Rodgers playing? I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I feel like preseason's always good for the unders, but
have you seen what the over-under is? I have no clue.
Usually it's somewhere around like 33, 34. That's what it usually is for most of the games.
Defensive
touchdowns. I didn't even know that, right?
Defensive scores. I feel like I'm going Jets in the over tomorrow. I'm gonna have some fun with it.
So one last topic that we got before we start looking at some positions for tomorrow night to watch. Dalvin Cook at the Jets facility the other day. Got the chants from all the crowd that was there. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, he left the facility without a deal. There were rumors today from Plaxico that it's either Dallas or the Dolphins. It almost feels like he's kind of using the Jets, trying to get more money from somewhere else. Do you think the Jets ultimately get him, or is he just waiting for Miami or somebody else to up their offer?
I think he's looking for the money, man. I mean, that's what I think. I think he's looking for the money. And I think he's looking for a 2-year deal, the most money he can get. So, that's what I think he's doing. Because I think he would have jumped all over us. He was in the building. And he didn't stay. So it's not, just remember one thing. I would love to have Dalvin Cook. I don't think anybody would not like to have Dalvin Cook. But let's remember, Dalvin Cook is a luxury for the Jets.
Yeah.
That's a luxury,
yeah.
Okay? It's not like the cupboard is bare because we got a beast over there. They're just trying to not have him too much. We'll see what happens. Listen, there's plenty of time yet. I'm not sold on Dalvin Cook not coming yet. I'm not totally sold on that. I think the man's looking for the money. Good for him. He knows where he's going to win a world championship. That's pretty evident. I mean, if he's looking to go to Dallas or he's looking to go to Miami, you can't tell me that the Jets aren't a better team than both of them. So I just don't see it.
We're going to wipe Dallas in week 2. We're going to wipe Miami twice this year. He'll regret either one of those teams. We can win. We can win with Dalvin Cook. We can win without Dalvin Cook. Yes. I'm very happy that we have the roster that we have. I feel very comfortable with our running back room. If we add him, I'll be pumped. Don't get me wrong. I won't discount that Dalvin Cook's not, I won't say he's not a good player. He's a good player, but we can win without him. He's not the difference maker from, us winning a Super Bowl and us not winning a Super Bowl. He's depth for us. For another team, maybe he's their starter. Maybe he goes to Dallas and, him and Pollard are 1A and 1B. Maybe he goes to Miami and he's their number one guy and he wants to be there. Who knows? But this is definitely his best chance to win of those 3 teams. I feel very comfortable saying that, especially with Zach Martin's situation in Dallas. Does he really want to go there with an unsettled offensive line like that? Does he want to come here and, and step into a team with Aaron Rodgers, with Breece Hall, with Garrett Wilson, with, the defense that we have? Listen, he can go wherever he wants. It's not going to – if he doesn't come here, I'm gonna yawn and move on with my life. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Don't count Michael Carter out.
Yep.
Don't count Michael Carter out.
And Izzy,
that man is pissed off.
Izzy and Bam also.
You could see it when he's talking, and there's nothing better than a motivated player. I love a motivated player, and Michael Carter had an off year last year. A lot to deal with that. There was a lot involved with that. But don't count Mike out. I don't count Mike out.
Him and Zonovan Knight both have looked pretty good at camp. You see that little that bounce in their step. So I was wondering if the Jets do ultimately sign Cook or even another veteran, who would be the odd man out? Like, would it be Izzy at this point?
No,
I think it would probably be Carter. Amazingly,
you think it would be Carter? Because they're not going to keep 5 back, so somebody's got to go.
I don't know. I would say Bam. Bam will be gone.
Could be Bam.
It'll
be a battle. Look, they're going to battle. You're going to see those guys. Those guys are going to battle all camp. It's not going to be Izzy. They drafted him this year. They're not going to. What are they going to do? Send him to the practice squad? Like, it's not going to be Izzy. Izzy's going to be on the team.
No, you got to remember these guys both drafted. All right, Carter was drafted, and Bam comes unrestricted free agent. All right, so that all plays into it. If it's that close, they're going with the draft pick because they save face. This is what they do. That's the NFL. That's not just the Jets. That's the NFL. That's what they do. That's why you draft these guys. This is what happens.
Well, speaking of draft picks, who's the rookie that you guys are most excited to watch for tomorrow night? Because there's been a lot of talk about Joe Tippmann. He hasn't really been getting a lot of work with the 1s and 2s yet. Is this finally an opportunity for him maybe to get on the field, run some guys over and start to get elevated a little bit in practice? Or somebody else you guys are watching?
Listen, I want to see Joe Tippmann. I mean, all of a sudden they're counting Joe Tippmann out. I mean, where'd that come from? Listen, all he said was, right now, the way it is, Connor McGovern, all right, is probably going to be a starter. But, I mean, it's early. We didn't even play a game yet.
Right.
Let's see what happens here.
I think a lot of the panic is coming from the Giants having JMS already in the starting rotation.
Yeah, did you see the video? Dexter Lawrence, I mean, pushed him like a rag doll. I mean, like a rag doll. You thought he beat up the kid from Minnesota in the playoffs? Look at some of that footage of that kid. All right, that kid was overwhelmed by Dexter Lawrence, and I can listen. Dexter Lawrence could overwhelm a lot of people. All right, but I don't want to hear that shit. I can't listen to that. That the kid from the Giants are good. They don't have anything near. They don't have the talent we have. I'm not listening to that. It's just not true. So
yeah, look, we can't get fired up about what a guy is before his first preseason game of his rookie year. We've had guys that we've thought were Hall of Famers before their first preseason game. Like, let's look at the other end, right? Guys that were flashing in camp that were like the next big thing, right? When freaking receivers and guys, what was that guy's name? What was that guy's name, that receiver that we had that was like crazy in the preseason? And then we wound up
a few of them. David Clowney, Gabe Marks, Joe Anderson. We've had a few.
No, he went to the Dolphins. And we were all freaking out about it and thought he was going to be the next big thing. He never did anything. I forget his name. Maybe somebody in the comments remembers him. But look, end of the day, what you do in practice and what you do in, without pads on and all that stuff is what it is. It makes for good, content to talk about and for reporters and everything. But when the lights turn on, when you put the jersey on, and then you figure out what kind of player you have, and we haven't even seen him on the field for one snap. And there's all these people freaking out that he was the wrong draft pick. How about we give the kid a chance? And, I mean, come on. We're acting a little crazy. I know that we're New York and that, it's like, we want things right away. Ed always says everybody wants everything right now. They're so used to getting everything right now. They can't wait 10 seconds. The guy's a rookie. He hasn't even played a preseason game yet. So
now,
and there's precedent here. We have offensive linemen. Max Mitchell's a good example. Nobody thought Max Mitchell was anything really early on in camp, and then he got a chance to play a little bit, and he showed a little something, right? So, like, who knows what Tippmann is? But let's give him a little chance here. Let's take a deep breath and let's calm down on that, that rhetoric. I think it's not time for that yet. If he goes out there and he's getting, pushed around by future target shelf stockers and stuff like that, and the fourth string players, then we maybe have something to worry about. But right now, he was the first center taken off the board, and if he's not ready to play right away, that's not like the end of the world. Let's see what he can do. I'm ready.
If Izzy from Brooklyn winds up lighting it up tomorrow, they'll be going crazy. All right, they'll be going out of their minds. All right. So remember, these guys, you got to put it in perspective, because you're dealing with second, third, fourth string players. Like, preseason is preseason. There's not a lot at stake. It's nice because it's football and we get all excited, but more than likely 95, 97% of these guys that light it up in the preseason, they're not even playing. They don't play. Or maybe they make the roster. There's always feel-good players, and, we want them. I'm not discarding, because these guys are fighting for their careers, and I want to see them do well. Don't get me wrong, but let's put it in perspective here. There's a reason why all the studs are on the sideline.
Yeah.
All right? There's a reason.
Remember Stevie Anderson? Remember that guy years ago? Wide receiver? Yeah. Lit it up in the preseason. Was catching 60-yard touchdown passes from like Bubby Brister or whoever it was. They're just lighting it up all preseason, and then the guy never did anything. I mean, you just like it's one thing to light up these fourth stringers, and it's one thing, what you don't want to see is guys like what Christian Hackenberg was in the preseason, when he would just go out there and throw a pick six on the first play, and you were like, Jesus Christ, like what the hell is this guy doing? But you don't want to see that. You definitely, if Zach Wilson were to go out there and throw a bunch of interceptions to third stringers and second stringers and stuff, that's not a good look. But at the end of the day, you got to take every single result that comes out of this game with a grain of salt. I mean, I think that like we're going to be fine regardless. Aaron Rodgers is not playing, like Ed said, for a reason. Like if you were really concerned about winning this game and stats and everything, you'd put your best players out there. It's not happening. You're not going to get guys hurt.
Listen, the bottom line is, you want tomorrow, when it's over, you want everybody to come out healthy. That's what you want. You want them to come out healthy. You don't want to have more injuries, because you need depth. You need the depth. And these are the guys that are going to be your depth. These are the guys that are going to do that. I do want to see Mekhi Becton. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. I want to see Mekhi. I want to see him dominate there tomorrow. It'd be great. I'm rooting for Mekhi. I mean, Mekhi could be the difference in us winning the world championship. That guy plays like he played in his rookie year, and you got some solid. Yeah, you're solid. So
seems like he's got a different outlook on things too now. He's not blaming the coaching staff. Kind of admitted he could have had a different surgery or been a little bit more prepared for training camp last year. So it's nice to see him, taking a little accountability for what happened last year.
He also said he's cool with playing right tackle.
Yep,
I like that.
Yeah, that was good to hear. Listen, somebody's talking to him, and that's a good thing. So, and they should. You got a lot of you got some real veterans over there, man. You got Lakeland Tomlinson, you got Connor McGovern, you got Dwayne Brown. Those guys are veterans in this league, man. They're talking to that kid, saying, "Oh, slow down. You play wherever you got to play. You got to get to reality. You haven't played in 2 years. I mean, let's get back to reality." That's what I was saying the last show. I mean, come on. Nobody
can make a lot of money in this league, Ed. You can make a lot of money in this league as a dominant tackle.
But nobody wants to hear you when you don't play. If you're in the tub, you can't perform in the tub, man. Don't work.
In the tub. That's a fact.
So we're getting a lot of questions about whether or not Michael Carter's playing tonight or tomorrow. Sala already said that the starters aren't going to be playing, and Carter's been rolling with the ones most days in practice. So I wouldn't expect to see him, but who knows? Obviously, Breece Hall is the number one back, so maybe they want to get a look at him.
I don't know. I don't know. I would say Michael Carter's probably going to play a little bit.
Play for a series maybe, and then get the guys. I mean, look, the guys who they really need to see, they know what they're getting in Michael Carter. The guys they really need to see would be Bam, Izzy, any guys that maybe I don't know. Are there other
kids? Another kid, Dye? Was it Dye?
Yeah, Travis Dye.
Yeah. They're gonna give these guys an opportunity. So
Brownlee will be an interesting one. Hey, the one I'm excited to watch is Brownlee. I really want to see what this kid Brownlee does out there. I've been hearing about all these and seeing these crazy one-armed catches in camp and everything. I know you were there, Kev. I can't wait to see what he can do suited up against, like actual competition. It's going to be
It's a player, man. He's got that vertical speed, and he goes up and gets it. So he's shredded.
I want to see my boy Strevler. Let's go.
He's been making plays.
I want to see my boy Strevler. He's wearing that FDNY. He's wearing that FDNY cap, the shirts. Listen, he's got a fan in me. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Chris Strevler.
Tough kid.
I'm a fan of him. I'm making it clear right now. I'm just telling you right now. I'm a fan. So
you can do some things with him, man. Like, why can't we have him? We can't have him be like a little kind of goal line, like trickery quarterback. Like, bring him in to.
Could happen.
I'm not saying he can't do that, but could you imagine how badly Saleh would get ripped if he pulls Rodgers from a game and throws Strevler in there on an important third down?
Forget it.
Can't do that.
I was thinking when we were up 30-3. That's what I was thinking. 30-3. Here comes Strevler. Let's go
against Denver. Imagine
against the Patriots.
Fourth quarter and Strevler bulldozes their defensive line for a touchdown.
But you got to love his attitude, man. Come on, that guy's. You got to love that guy. That guy.
I do love that guy.
He's got the right attitude, man. I love him. Love him.
He threw one of the worst passes I ever saw in my life, though. He had that guy in that Jacksonville game. It was Corey Davis, I think, or somebody wide open over the middle and just missed him by like underthrew him by like 10 yards. Still caught the ball though. Caught the ball there. But I love Strevler. That's my guy. I root for him.
Let's see what happens.
What are your thoughts on Ruckert so far? Seems like he's been starting to make some more plays.
Yes, my man. Red zone target. Well, I said it. Don't listen. Jeremy Ruckett's going to find a spot there. Don't you kid yourself. They didn't draft him in the third round. If you think he ain't playing, you're out of your mind. That boy's playing. I say he takes time from CJ. That's where he's going to take the time from. Cochran's your number one, but you're going to see him. You're going to see Ruckert get in there, man. He's going to play.
Did you guys see that pass?
He's a blocker. He blocks like CJ. So, and he's young, and he's a third-round pick. I'm just telling you, you're going to see that. You're going to see 3 tight end sets too with Rodgers because he loves that. He loves that shit. He plays play action off that. He does a lot of things off that. So you're going to see they're going to utilize the tight end in a big way more than we have in the past. This guy loves the tight ends. Loves them.
Did you see that pass that Ruckert caught? I think it was yesterday. Yes. That Aaron Rodgers got it in there in the tightest of windows, man.
And practice. It ended practice.
In practice.
That red zone, right?
That ball got in there. He had about an inch of space. It could not have been a more perfect pass. Just winged in there and just a great catch on it too. It was, and then all the players went crazy. Strevler ran over.
I don't know who the D-back was. I don't know if it was Michael Carter or was Adams. I couldn't see. It might have been 22. I think it might have been Adams. But you see them slam their fist on the dirt.
Couldn't believe it.
Take a look at that when you see it. You'll see him slam the fist because he had tight coverage, but that's how good a pass it was.
Yeah. The coverage was great.
What you could do about that?
No.
No, so he had frustration, which was great. You love that. You love that. They're competing.
Listen, we got a quarterback that can make those throws. Life is good.
Oh, baby, let's go.
I mean, he was not open. He was covered. It was crazy.
Let's go.
I'm pretty sure Rodgers has only been picked once.
I'm hoping to see my boy Aaron tomorrow in Cleveland. I'm going to go down to the sideline and see if I can give me a little love with Aaron. I'm going to give me a little love with Aaron. I haven't seen him yet. So maybe
you figure he's probably going to have the headset on tomorrow, right? Calling some plays and whatnot.
We're going to have a little – yeah, he might. We have a little love fest with Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. Yeah.
Listen, if Method Man could get an Aaron Rodgers signed jersey, can Fire Minette get a Aaron Rodgers signed jersey to bring home with them from Canton, please?
That'd be nice, and but I'll take a world championship. You can keep the jersey. Just give me that world championship, Aaron. Give me that world championship, Aaron. Let's get that Lombardi. Yeah, baby. That's what I want. I want that Lombardi.
Same.
That's what I want. But Method Man says, when he was talking to Stephen Smith and the other guy from NFL Network, he said, we need the fireman. We need the guy with the fire helmet. He goes, what's his name? And the announcer goes, Fireman Ed. Stephen Smith said, Fireman Ed. The Method Man was there.
Yeah, Method Man, that's the guy right there.
He's
You know
looking
what's funny?
he's looking
Method
for me
Man's
to
always
rush the house early.
Method Man's always
Who's
been a Jets.
early?
Method Man from back in the day. There's pictures of Method Man rocking Jets jackets in the 90s. He's always been with the Jets. But it's like you said, Ed, they come out of the woodworks when the team's good, like they start showing up.
They've been hiding in the weeds, bro.
Yep.
They've been hiding in the weeds. And
Yep.
now they got their jerseys on, and we welcome all of them. Everybody. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. We're waiting for you. We're waiting for
the Jets.
you.
Damn right.
Utah. It's for the Jets.
All right, so we didn't really get to much on the linebackers yet. Quan Alexander, he signed with the Steelers. Seems like there's a lot of confidence in Sherwood right now. But who are you looking at tomorrow as far as depth goes? You got Nasruddin, you got Chaz Surratt. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of depth at linebacker right now. You got the kid Deion Barnes, who was a 5th-round pick, maybe an opportunity for him.
I think you're going to see them pick up somebody in the linebacker position. I've been saying it all along. Telling you, you know who I want. You know who I want. I want that deal to be made. I want Patrick Queen in here from the Ravens. You know it. You know it. You know it.
That would be something.
You know I want it. I've been calling for it. I want it. Boy, would that be it? That would be something. You got him in here.
I'm having a hard time understanding why we couldn't get Quan, and we had the money.
I don't think they wanted to.
They just didn't want.
I don't think they wanted to. Well, it was obvious that they didn't want to. So
maybe they just wanted to get younger, get faster. They like Sherwood. They seem to like his football IQ. Mosley, solid. They're always praising him.
Yep. I'm anxious to see what this Tony Adams. They're real high on this Tony Adams.
Yep. Yeah, he's been getting a lot of the reps at
you
free
hear
safety
a lot of the players
over
talk
Amos.
about him. You've seen all the players talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
Saying he was a hidden gem and stuff. So, those are good. This is what I'm talking about. When you get a guy like Tony Adams, that's huge for your team. I mean, that's an unheralded player. You got an undrafted free agent that you got. I mean, these are guys that just made. That's where championships are won. That's where championships are won. I mean, this guy Pacheco goes from Kansas City, 7th-round pick. He lights it up. I mean, these are the guys that contribute, that give you a chance to win a world championship. It goes on and on. You see the stories all the time. So when I see these unheralded guys, this is why you do look tomorrow. When you look and you see, because there are guys that could emerge. They don't come often. It's like a needle in a haystack, really. I mean, it's that hard to break into this league.
Credit Joe Douglas, though. I mean, he's found a few gems since he's been here, between Quincy and JFM, Adams, Brownlee.
That's my man, Rex Hogan. Rex Hogan.
You know who Adams reminds me of, guys? Adams reminds me of, and it's funny because I have a funny story about this. I was in Chicago this week with Gary V, AJ, the boys. I got to see Revis out there, but there's like 100,000 sports fans there, and people go rocking their jerseys of like their favorite players and stuff like that, from all over the world, all over the world. You got soccer, football, everything. So I'm sitting at our booth, and sure enough, out of nowhere, and Gary V got really fired up about this too, but out of nowhere, this guy walks up in a custom Rontez Miles jersey. And I was like, of all the random jerseys to run into in Chicago at the National, like Rontez Miles. So Rontez and I used to speak back in the day with, on the old, NYJF magazine account and everything. And we'd done a couple of small things with graphics and stuff like that. And so I took a picture and I sent it to him, and he posted it, and he was all fired up about it. Like, to see somebody was still rocking the Rontez jersey. But Adams reminds me a little bit of Rontez in some ways, where like he kind of came out of nowhere and the team loved him. Remember how much the team loved Rontez Miles, and like everyone went to battle for him and everything. And he made some plays and stuff like that. I think Tony Adams, maybe his ceiling's a little higher than Rontez, but like, I think that's a pretty decent comp right now at this point. Is like, he's become a little bit of a fan favorite and a little bit of a favorite in the locker room. And he's making plays and flashing, and I'm kind of fired up to see what happens.
Very, very similar stories, but different players.
Yeah.
Rontez Miles, like he was, a special teams ace, kind of like a box safety. With Adams, you see that deep coverage, that range. Like that's what the Jets need right now. Somebody that could cover, that could play that deep center field. So I like the versatility he brings.
Yeah. And
sure.
he seems like he's long. He's got some real reach to him, and it's going to be exciting, really. I mean, You get guys like that emerge, man. Forget it.
Kev,
Another
you've
guy
been-
we haven't talked about, Jermaine Johnson, who's having a nice camp, looking
Let's
physical,
go.
and after the play.
Let's go.
Love seeing that.
Switch
Kev,
this
I need to take from you, Kev. You've been at camp.
Yeah.
You've been there on the sidelines. I know I've been seeing all the videos you've been posting. Your videos have been crushing it on the Let's Talk Jets account. Everyone's been tuned in, seeing what you've been up to out there. But I'm curious about this. Who is the one guy? And you can't say Brownlee because obviously he's the one that everyone's talking about. But who's the one guy you've had your eye on, flying a little bit under the radar, that you think has a legit chance to make the team, that you would have never said that before training camp started?
I mean, you took my answer with Brownlee. I mean, I was definitely going to go him just because he's making plays every single day. I think there's an opening at safety right now. I keep talking about the two kids, Trey Dean and Marquise Waters. I think they're two good box safeties that could replace Chuck Clark. I think Waters has a little bit more speed, a little more athleticism, possibly better in coverage. So I'll be watching both of those guys tomorrow. I'm still a big fan of Kenny Yeboah. I know you guys love Kuntz, but Kenny Yeboah is my guy right now for that fourth tight end.
from Australia. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Gary?
Baby. Down under, throw a strip on the bar,
What's up
baby.
from Australia.
My
Love it.
guy. I
Love
love
it.
that. Welcome.
Gary's over there. Gary V is on his way. I think he might be there by now.
In Australia?
Yeah, I just seen him tweet about 2 hours ago. He says, "I'm 22 hours on a flight. I'm almost there."
Guys, Gary, there's nobody on this planet that has more energy than Gary V. I'm going to say,
How he does
the
it.
craziest thing about Gary is, one day he'll be in Australia, the next day he'll be in Guam, the next day he'll be in the South Pole, the next day he'll be in China, and the next day he'll be in Italy, and you're like, and then he comes back to New York and it's like nothing. And I go on one little trip to California for a couple of days and come back and I'm exhausted. I'm like, I don't know how Gary does it, man.
Then he's in Union, New Jersey at his father's wine.
It's amazing.
He's tasting wines,
doing his thing.
Yep.
All right, so if the chat has any questions, we'll start to wrap it up a little bit. Any questions that you guys have, feel free to fire away. I did see Clemens throw that haymaker at Ruckert. First few days especially were very chippy. It's kind of calmed down a little bit since then. I know Tomlinson had a big fight, I think, the other day, but it's mostly
fights happen in all training camps, and if you saw Travis Kelce threw a punch at a guy, in Chiefs camp, this shit happens. The guys are battling against each other. You got these young guys that are trying to make a name for themselves, going against veterans that are, their careers are already established. What it all takes is one little, dust up and it's 1,000 degrees outside. It's hot. They're sick of playing against each other. This shit happens every training camp. You have nothing to worry about.
Listen, my boy Ruckert is a New York boy. You understand? He's a Long Island boy. He's been in the clubs. Listen to me. He ain't, and Michael Clemens is the man. I mean, that's a beast. That's a beast. But you know what? New York, when you go after New York, they come right back after you, man. They ain't. That's like being in the schoolyard. That's like being right in the schoolyard. In the schoolyard, bro. Ruckert came right after Clemens. Let's go.
When do you guys expect Brees back, and will we sign Cook? I don't think they're going to sign Cook. And ultimately, if they don't, I think Brees will be playing week 1. If they do add a veteran, maybe they try to push Brees back a week or two. But as of right now, I think he's on track to be ready for week 1.
I just invited Darren in. Darren, if you go to the chat, Darren, and you see, I just put the link to the studio. If you click that and you come in, we'll chat a little, from Australia. I'd like to have a little convo with you and see what it's like being a Jet fan out there. If not this week, then we'll definitely set it up in a future episode.
Thoughts on the tackle position? Is there any way we can bring more talent there? I don't know if they're going to add more talent, but I brought it up every week. AVT, he filled in serviceably last year. If they do need an emergency tackle, if Brown's not ready, if Becton's not healthy, I think that's the route they can go in. But you still got more than a month left until week 1. So,
yeah, that book hasn't been written. That book ain't written. The offensive line is a work in progress. We'll see what happens there.
If Zach Martin, Darren's in here. I love that. But 1 second. If Zach Martin ever were to become available, what would you what's the ceiling on what you would give up for a guy like that at this point?
What can you give up? You don't really have your first or second round pick to trade.
But Zach Martin's a guard, right? He's not a tackle.
But no, I understand, but I'm just talking about on the offensive.
If you're going to do anything, I think our guard position's fine. I mean, tackle is the question mark.
Yeah.
You know, because of the two things, Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. So that's where the puzzle is. Listen, I'm just telling you, this guy took less money. There's a reason. They have a plan.
Mhm.
They are not, if they think Mekhi's tentative on that knee and Dwayne Brown, they are going to go out and get a tackle. I'm telling you, they're going to go out and get one. They're going for it. You believe me, if they're going to spend the money and they're going to go get something, they're going to use it on a tackle. Remember what I told you. That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Eddie, we got Darren in here right now from Australia, man. You know, we had if you come into our show and you're watching from Australia, you're coming into the studio. Darren, what's good, man?
Yeah, my mate.
What's up, Darren?
Hello, boys. How are we?
Doing great.
Mate.
G'day, mate. Ed, it's a pleasure to meet you. Virtually meet you. I've heard and read a lot about you and seen the way that the Jets fan holds you in such high regard. So I'm deeply honoured to be on the show with you. And of course, you and Jay and Kev, well,
you know what?
You're treading on Ed's shoulders. He's keeping the show above level.
I appreciate you. Let me tell you something.
Thank you.
Representing us down in Australia, that's incredible. I have a buddy of mine I work out with. He's from Australia. He's a beast, and I love the man. That's great. I'm honored to meet you, my friend.
Ed, I should probably let you know we're still trying to fully convert Darren to a Jets fan. He's partially a Browns fan, partially a Jets fan. We're trying to fully get him over to our side.
I'm more a fan of the sport than any particular team.
Darren, give me a little breakdown though of like what it's like in Australia currently with the vibes with the NFL. Like on Sundays, do you? I mean, I know the time is probably crazy. Like what? I'm not familiar with what the time difference is, but like a 1 o'clock.
Right. So the games on a Sunday, the 1 p.m. games, at the start of the season, they're on at 3 a.m. on a Monday morning. So for the past sort of 5-6 years, I've got up at 3 a.m. to watch that pathetic Browns play every single week. Sort of for the last year, I sort of watched the Jets mainly. And I wasn't really interested in the Browns because of all the stuff that happened then. So I watched the Jets. I sort of fell into the Jets I just got a random thing online to tell me to watch Let's Talk Jets Radio. And I watched the show. It was a live stream. I believe it was the Rams game. Prime time, I can't remember.
Yeah.
When
was the game that we lost Trevor Lawrence with.
Yeah, exactly. And I came in as Tyson
Brady man tackle that cost us Trevor Lawrence. Yep.
Yeah, I came in as Tyson was losing his absolute, you know what, over that. And then obviously went on to see the blown coverage. And no, it wasn't the Rams game. It was that game with the blown coverage where he's ended up losing.
Oh, the Raiders.
The Raiders game, yeah. And ever since then, I've watched the show religiously. Over the last sort of 4 months, I've dropped off because I'm doing some stuff at work that's taken my time up. But I love the show. I love the team. I try and pay attention to much of the Jets as I can. I'm obviously no way in depth knowing it, and I never try to be. I just really enjoy the sport, and that's why I watch it. But yeah, the times are a bit how's your father, as we would say down here in Australia.
Well, you got to be pumped about all our prime time games, because if it delays the kickoff by 7 hours, now you got a 10 a.m. game, right?
Yeah, and then exactly. And then as the season progresses, I think probably maybe by about the 5th or 6th game of the season, it changes to 5 a.m. So then the primetime games are at midday on a Monday. Beautiful. So it's good for me because it's right in the middle of lunchtime, and by midday I just stop doing anything and I watch. And
so you must be pumped for the Monday night opener. That's a watchable game for you. You don't have to like struggle and wake up in the middle of the night. I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, I just put it on the laptop to the side of my big screen and I do work and I pay. I mean, the games go so long, man. Like it's just completely foreign down here in Australia. Like our games, our football, rugby league, my main sport, like it's over in 80 minutes. And for the whole 80 minutes, that's game time. There's no stops. There's no It's
Yeah,
just
but
plain. So
doesn't cricket
watch
last
3.5 hours?
14 days? Like, aren't the cricket the longest thing in the world?
Yeah, it depends on the kind of cricket. But yeah, Test cricket is 5 days. But I don't really watch cricket anymore. It's like baseball, I think. Like, I'm not saying I don't know much about baseball, but I think a lot of the time things, happen with cricket. So they brought in like what's known as some shorter version. So there's a 1 day, which is like 50 overs each team, which I guess would be the equivalent of like in baseball, they played like half an innings.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like just four. Is it four innings in baseball? Or it's
Nine.
8.
Nine innings.
Nine.
Nine
Yeah.
innings
So if they played a game that was half an innings, and then they also brought in another version, which is like 20-20, which is a quarter innings. It's 20 overs for each team, which is just basically blokes flogging the ball over the fence, trying to score as many runs as they can. So cricket sort of identified that, hey, we're losing support and a lot of the with Test cricket, which is a 5-day game, that's a very like a legacy thing where, much like baseball, sort of like the older generation of people are like holding on to that old throwback way of cricket, whereas the younger generations, they ain't got no time to sit there for 5 days waiting for a result.
Well, I got good news for you. Being that we're all Mets fans, the three of us, New York Mets fans, we aren't going to have any baseball to watch for the next few years either. So, we're fully locked in on what's going on with the Jets right now.
So, what are you hoping to see in the game on Thursday, apart from no injuries?
Yeah, I just want to myself. I would like to see a little progress from Zach. Obviously, I don't want to see him go out there and shit the bed. And then, I want to see. I'm really, really, really interested in this Brownlee kid. I just from all I haven't had a chance. Usually, I get a chance to go out to to the training camp and get to watch the practices and everything. In past years, I've seen none of that except for what Primetime's been able to provide on the social media, and pretty much all that stuff has just been leading me back to just endless Brownlee highlights. And I'm so excited to see him like out there and playing, and also the running back position. Obviously, I'm really excited to see what Izzy is. I'm excited to see some Bam Knight and just really more than anything else, just to see the team run out of the tunnel with the jerseys on and the helmets and know that football is back. And, we're just a couple of weeks away from real football, because Ed, do you sit around sometimes like it just pops in your mind randomly out of nowhere, like how fucking electric that stadium is about to be on Monday night, the 11th? I mean,
I literally, can I just say one thing real quick? Yeah, Jomo, I did say 9 and 8, and I'm still there. I haven't changed. Sorry, Ed.
9 and 8. That's what. Well, listen. Sometimes I'm sitting around, I'm working, and then like out of nowhere, just in my head, it'll pop in. It's like, yo, in like a month, we have Monday Night Football against the Bills, and then we go to Dallas, and it's like it's getting so close. So all these preseason games, I just want to get through them. I know it's cliche. I just want to get through them with no injuries so that like we can just get 1 week closer to the real deal. And that's where my head's at.
There's a bit of talk in the Browns media that they've got their eye on Michael Carter if he was to get released by the Jets.
I love Michael Carter.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
They're happy with Elijah Moore, so now they're looking to steal some more Jets players. I know you don't care, but Elijah Moore's been doing really well. I
wish him
all the best. I know you
don't
care that he left the team, but yeah, I do too. Like if any player goes to another team, it's their the way they make a living. They got to do what's best for them. So, I think for me, like the defensive line for the Browns is going to be a real point of focus for them because they're really trying to figure out their depth. I mean, they've got their starters pretty much well. It's just the depth pieces. So that's probably where the Browns are probably going to be looking to maybe do something in the game. Their secondary and their linebackers and stuff fall off a lot once you get to the second and third string. So I think for Zach, that's probably going to possibly open up some areas for him to get some confidence slinging the ball.
Jets in the over.
Yeah,
what my man's just told us is sounds like an over to me. Sounds like we're gonna light that second and third quarter up when it's Strevy and when it's Boyle and we're throwing bombs out there to Brownlee.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
run up the score.
And I think the Browns are gonna probably try and do the same. I mean, you know what it's like in preseason, especially these Hall of Fame games when it's just vanilla nonsense and players out there who probably would never see a roster at the end of the day, but that often leads to big scores.
I just had a thought. Ed, are you going to try to like get a little like pre-kickoff, pre-game Jets chant going in the Hall of Fame stadium?
I couldn't tell you that, Jay. I don't know how it's going to be there.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's going to be there. I'll just feel it out.
Yeah,
because I'll know when I get there. But my seats aren't. My seats are okay. They're like on a 10-yard line. So we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe Revis might start a fight with his old teammate, so everyone can cheer for that. Are they going to have to keep him 50 feet apart?
Yeah.
They might.
But how's your overall feel? I know you're excited about what's to come for the team, and I think this time of year everybody's excited for their own team's performance. But if we let's just say you take the record at the end of the season away, and let's just say, what would be one thing that you would want to see from the team that you would turn around and say that's a successful season if we remove the record?
I mean, look,
world championship.
Yeah, I'm looking for a world championship. We've all been alive long enough with not seeing one. It's time to win one. I want a champ. I mean,
anything. So even just playoff game is.
I want to see us play. I want to see us play at home.
Yes.
I want to see us get a home playoff game. I actually want to see us get home field throughout the playoffs, because if we get home field throughout the playoffs, nobody's coming in here and beating us. We're gonna win the whole thing.
We don't lose home playoff games. I've been to a
but
couple.
we don't get them. So when we get them, we don't lose. So we want to stack wins. I don't agree with you. We're not winning 9 games. We're gonna win minimum 12. Minimum 12. So
I agree.
We'll see where that goes.
I'm putting us
on.
Time will
tell, my friend. Time will tell.
I haven't been wrong yet, have I, Prime Time?
No, you haven't. But I'll just say, though, the Rodgers restructure, I think, kind of changes the perspective a little bit. Like, we all want to see the Jets win a championship this year, but as long as things end up, going in the right direction, you have that home playoff game, whether, you get bounced in the championship game or not, like, Rodgers is going to be here next year. You're going to have assets to keep building this thing. So it's not like this is just one and done. So they're going to have multiple cracks at it. So you just want to get through this year with some positivity in the playoffs, home playoff game. And if they win it all, awesome. Like, we're all going to be celebrating. It'll be great. But if not, like next year, they're going to be right back.
Yeah, even though I've said 9-8, when I said 9-8, I also said that I think they are a strong chance of winning the division. So for me, if I look at it from an outside, I think if the Jets can win the division, they're obviously in the playoffs, then that, to me, that is, like you just said, Prime Time, that is set a very good benchmark for the next season, where you've got a lot of young players. A lot of your key players are 1, 2, maybe 3 years in the league. Getting to the playoffs their first time and winning it all is a big ask for any team, let alone a team who hasn't had playoff experience for a long, long time. So I think for me, win the division and reach the playoffs is a successful season. Then, of course, once you're in the dance, then who knows what music's going to come on and let you boogie. So
that's a fact. Darren, I appreciate you coming in. We're gonna have to wrap up here because we got to.
I wasn't expecting to come on, so I better go and do some actual work where I can earn money to pay for the NFL match pass, which is exorbitant.
It's exorbitant down here too. I live in Florida. I gotta pay the bills. They just raised the price of the NFL Sunday ticket this year on me is like $400 a year plus my $200 crappy.
But with
jersey.
the exchange rate, I pay probably like double because of the Australian dollar so low. Yeah, all right. I appreciate you coming on, Ed. It was a pleasure to talk to you, boys. Deuces. Good luck to the Jets for the season, if I don't speak to you before.
All the best to you.
Jets.
All the best, brother.
All right, so a couple things I want to do before we leave. First of all, as usual, we need to shout out our guys over at TACOPS and Stumpy's. TACOPS, the tactical laser tag place. We definitely are going to set up there when we get back. When I get back in town, hopefully sometime over that opening week, we can go out there and put a little NYJF team together. So I'm pumped about that. Number 2, Florham Park, as Ed put a video out earlier today over with the guys over at Stumpy's. Florham Park right now is probably in the middle of a game. If not, the game's already over. But they are playing in the 12 and under teams, playing in the Little League World Series out there in Connecticut. If they win, they go to the Little League World Series and, so win the state. So we're pumped up for them. Always good to have some positive championship vibes going on in Florham Park. So I hope they bring it home tonight. And, besides that, I know Ed and I are working on something a little special. I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but it's coming soon. We have some news dropping soon. Kev, I know you're fired up about it. I know Rob's fired up about it. I cannot wait to break the news, but we are maybe a week or two away from that. But just know that something cool is brewing over here at NYJF. And Kev, go ahead.
I want to just say one thing. Let's, if you can, go on the GoFundMe page for John Monge, Monge. He's a Jet fan, die fan, family, everybody. He had a accident and he needs some help. So let's pray for him. And if you can spare $5, whatever you could spare, be great. I really appreciate it. Okay.
And I'll definitely post the link in the description.
I just posted it. Yeah, I just posted the link in the comments. We'll make sure we post the link in the in the YouTube description and everything, and get it out on all of our socials.
He's starting to make his move. He's starting to he's pushing. So I'm excited for him, and let's try to help him out.
Love to hear that. That's amazing. Cool.
Right, well said. We'll be back live tomorrow night with you and Tyson. Can't wait for that. Ed, enjoy Cleveland. Hope to see plenty of videos out there. Hope to hear plenty of Jet chants. Enjoy it. Talk to you guys again tomorrow night.
All right, guys. Go Jets.